How long shall I fret over what I lack, or wonder if I'll stay on joy's true track? Fill the glass of wine, for I will never know if the next breath I take, I will give back. Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special video. I'm Sara, a daughter of Iran, and today I present to you the collection of Omar Khayyam, this brilliant poet and astronomer and a mathematician and just scientist from the 12th century who looked at the universe's complexity and decided that the real answer to the mystery of life is joy. So he spent half his life writing poems and getting drunk, and in the other half he had some hobbies like designing what remains to be the world's most accurate calendar to this day, the Jalali calendar that we still use it in Iran to this day. His poetry style is very unique. Most of his poems are written in a style called Roba'i, which comes from the Arabic word for four, arba'a. Every Roba'i has 4 lines. The first, second, and the fourth rhyme together. And the last line often has a bit of a surprise, a pleasant shock at the end. This format wasn't invented by him or anything, but he excelled at it to the point that the word Roba'i immediately reminds Iranians of Khayyam. But before I start reciting the poems, I want to explain some of his philosophy and some key Persian words so you guys can understand and enjoy the poems better. Khayyam was an exceptional scientist who understood how the universe works better than almost anyone at his time. And what he figured out was pretty humbling. We are incredibly small and our time here is incredibly short. So even though we all say this, he actually believed that all we have is this present moment, and our only job is to cherish it. That's why drinking may or bade and becoming drunk is such a big part of his poems. So may and bade means wine, and mast means drunk. Of course, drinking is a very, very common theme in Persian literature, but a lot of times that's just an allegory to express spiritual wisdom. But when it comes to Khayyam, most experts believe that most of the time he's talking about wine. Like, he wants to literally get drunk. So another very important word he uses a lot is saqi. Saqi is the person who pours and hands you the wine. They can be the host of the party, a guest, a man or a woman, but they're usually a beautiful young person. Sometimes the saqi is literally a lover or the lover of the poet. And sometimes they're the guide, the master of the art of drinking, in the spiritual and the literal sense. So basically, Khayyam is like, have a chat with your saqi, drink your wine, and live in the moment because it's all fleeting. Everything is constantly turning into something else, including you. And that's also a very interesting theme. So in Islam, like many religions, there's this belief that humans are made from the earth, the clay and dust. And obviously they'll return to it when they die. And then new humans are born from the earth. So Khayyam loves to write about a kuze. This is a kuze. And I think in English the best translation would be a pot jar or a clay jar, but we call it kuze. And kuze is something that's crafted beautifully. It is filled with different things throughout its life. But sooner or later, it gets old and unusable and it breaks, or they have to break it. So it could return to the dust and they can shape other kuzes and maybe other humans because, you know, the source is the same. So that's another concept that Khayyam loves to write about. Also, I couldn't find any translations that capture the concept in the poetic format and maybe some of those little moments of dopamine that Khayyam creates. There's a Fitzgerald's version, and it's very beautiful, but it's more of an adaptation, not a translation. So the translation you'll be hearing is the result of hours of work from me, ChatGPT, and Gemini. As you know, the first language of none of us is English, but we tried. And I know this was completely unnecessary, no one asked for it, and it's not possible to translate everything, but I take great joy in trying to do so and then fail. And I guess that's the whole point of Khayyam, right? Khayyam, agar زباد مستی خوش باش با ماه رخی اگر نشستی خوش باش چون عاقبت کار جهان نیستی است، انگار که نیستی. چو هستی خوش باش. If there's joy in drinking, be glad. Sit next to your darling, be glad. The world ends in nothing, oh Khayyam. As long as you're something, be glad. می نوش که عمر جاودانی این است. خود حاصلت از دور جوانی این است. هنگام گل و می است و یاران سرمست. خوش باش دمی که زندگانی این است. Drink, for that makes eternity rife, the only gain from your youth's strife. Roses, wine, and drunken friends nearby, enjoy this breath, for this is life. من بی می ناب زیستن نتوانم. من بی می ناب زیستن نتوانم. بی باده کشید بار تن نتوانم. من بنده آن دمم که ساقی گوید یک جام دگر بگیر و من نتوانم. To live with no wine at hand, I can't. To make this sober body stand, I can't. I'll worship that time if Sari says, take one more glass, and I can't. تا کی غم آن خورم که دارم یا نه؟ وین عمر به خوشدلی گذارم یا نه؟ پر کن قدح باده که معلومم نیست کین دم که فرو برم برارم یا نه. How long shall I fret over what I lack, or wonder if I'll stay on joy's true track? Fill the glass of wine, for I will never know if the next breath I take I will give back. یک قطره آب بود و با دریا شد. یک ذره خاک و با زمین یکتا شد. آمد شدن تو اندر این عالم چیست؟ آمد مگسی پدید و ناپیدا شد. A drop of rain it was, then joined the sea. A mote of dusk joined the earth's unity. What's your coming and going to this world? A fly emerged and faded instantly. این کوزه چو من عاشق زاری بوده است. این کوزه چو من عاشق زاری بوده است. در بند سر زلف نگاری بوده است. این دسته که بر گردن او میبینی دستی است که بر گردن یاری بوده است. This pot like me once mourned the love it chased. Caught in a beauty's hair its grief was traced. This handle you see that leans along its side was once a hand around a lover's waist. جامی است که عقل آفرین میزندش. جامی است که عقل آفرین میزندش. صد بوسه ز مهر بر جبین میزندش. این کوزه گر دهر چنین جام لطیف میسازد و باز بر زمین میزندش. A cup so fine that reason hails its grace and plants 100 kisses on its face. The potter of time makes cups of fragile clay. He makes them gently, then breaks them apace. در کارگه کوزه‌گری رفتم دوش. دیدم 2000 کوزه گویا و خموش. ناگاه یکی کوزه برآورد خروش. کو کوزه گر و کوزه خر و کوزه فروش. Last night I wandered to the potter's cellar. Saw 1,000 pots, silent or teller. Then one pot rose and cried these words to me. Which one's the potter, buyer, and seller? اسرار ازل را نه تو دانی و نه من. اسرار ازل را نه تو دانی و نه من. وین حرف معما نه تو خوانی و نه من. هست از پس پرده گفتگوی من و تو. چون پرده برافتد نه تو مانی و نه من. The truth of life we cannot gain, nor you nor I. Eternity we won't explain, nor you nor I. We chatter on upon the stage, just you and I. The curtain falls and none remain, nor you nor I.